What's up? Back again, number 5. I don't know about you. I look forward to this all week. Best part of the week, if you ask me. I don't know who's going to be here today. Doesn't matter. Last week we had some chatting, some people writing in. That was cool. This week it might just be me talking to you, talking to the camera. That's good. I think our lighting's better this week. You live and you learn. Try to make it 1% better every week. In a couple years of this, we're gonna be like good old pros, like we are at other stuff. Been an exciting week, I guess. Mostly it's been a week like most of the other weeks. Playing some music, going to the gym, trying to hit some deadlines, trying to make some stuff happen. I think that's probably going to be our theme for this week's episode, is a little bit about staying on track in creative pursuits. It's a little bit difficult because it can be very, very not rewarding in the beginning, because you work and you work and you work and you literally see no results. And sometimes it actually seems like worse than no result. It actually seems like backsliding. And the only way through that valley is through that valley. You can't jump over it. You can't skip it. You can't bypass it. And again, I'm talking to myself because most of the advice I have to give is advice I need to hear. And I know this stuff, but sometimes you just got to hear it out loud, even if it's from your own voice or me watching my live stream back and talking to myself. So anyway, that's what it's going to be. You know, the thing is it's really hard to keep doing something when you're not seeing any progress and you're not seeing the results and you're not getting that feedback loop. And I think that's been one of my little addictions to playing live gigs, is that instant gratification. If you're doing a good job, people just clap and cheer and dance and sing, and you see the smile on their face and you know you're doing a good job. Whereas other things, sitting in a studio by yourself, sending music out to sync agencies, sending mixes out to clients, or talking to a camera for your YouTube channel with nobody watching, it's frustrating at the beginning. And I think that's why a lot of people give up pretty easily, because there's no feedback of whether or not you're doing a good job. So again, talking to the audience, which the audience is me in this case, is just like, keep going, keep doing it. Give it a legitimate shot. I mean, it took me years before I ever was able to stably make money with music. So you got to imagine when you're trying to basically change the entire system of what you depend on, it's going to take some time. So there we are. That's what we're doing. That's what we're going. I've been kicking around titles for this show, but I don't know. I think we're just going to keep it with the KEL Show, because I think we're going to keep it varied, because sometimes it's going to be more music. Sometimes it's going to be guests. Sometimes it's going to be me sitting here. But we might have little segments or little sections or little kind of, different types of episodes, I guess. That's how we'll say it. One of the ideas I was kicking around was called Wine, Wisdom, and Song, because I like all three of those things: wine, wisdom, and song. And there'll be a bit of all those things on the show. You know, play on words of the classic wine, women, and song. There's probably not going to be many women, unless they play music or have something else to offer intellectually. So here we are again. Been slowly getting my live set together with my brand new setup. It's pretty technologically advanced. It's with Loopy Pro, which we're definitely going to be talking about in the future quite a bit. It's a monster of an app for iPad that I'm connecting via USB into my guitar rig and turning my guitar rig into some bizarro hybrid looping, producing, beat making monster. And it's really cool, but it's a pretty big learning curve, and I've just been doing the other stuff so long that it's so second nature that it's actually kind of a nice challenge to do something else and do something different. I was recently just joined the beta of the next version of the Loopy Pro app, so I've been playing with some new features that aren't available to the general public yet, which is amazing shit, but there's definitely still a couple of quirks in there that it's why there's a beta, trying to figure out those quirks before it gets set into the wild to the public. But it's going to be amazing. It's good. I don't understand why they don't build it into a pedal. You know, you'd think that maybe one of these companies like Headrush or Boss or somebody like that would just scoop up this tech and just build a piece of hardware around it and make it one unit that works really well. Maybe they will. Who knows? We'll see. I'd buy it. That's for sure. Yeah, man. So I watched the Oscars. I don't know why. I didn't see any of the movies that were Oscar worthy this time around. None at all. Literally nothing. Didn't even seem that exciting. I mean, I don't know. I think that whole scene is kind of dead and kind of lost its influence, lost its position in the world. They'll probably make some kind of award show for influencers and YouTubers. I'm sure there is, but something more formal, more prestigious. People love to give themselves awards. But the real award and reward is just getting to do it. People talk about competition in the entertainment business, and it's not really competition with other people. The competition is it's an endless game. It's there's no winning the game. The goal is only to keep playing. And if you get to keep playing, then I guess that makes you a winner. So I've been playing a long ass time, so I must be winning like a motherfucker. So we'll see if anybody drops by today, but if they don't, I had a couple things on my mind. I was thinking about getting out, talking about relationships. Relationships are what everything is built on. You know, everybody always says the classic line, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And that's definitely true. It's definitely true in the music business, but I would argue it's true in any business. And there's relationships in business, there's relationships in marketing and getting jobs and all that kind of thing. And then there's also like the most fundamental relationship if you're a musician, usually in some kind of, you know, pop or rock band, and that's this relationships with band members. Bands are a tricky thing to make work. And I started playing gigs for people and had a band and started playing really regularly when I was about 15 years old. I know it's hard to believe, but it was a long ass time ago when I was 15 years old. And I remember my first gig at that Timberlake skating rink in Timberlake, Virginia. It was something. It was definitely enough to get me hooked. But anyway, since I was 15 until now, which is several years later, I've been dealing with band members, and it's a very specific relationship because they have to meet these certain criteria. First of all, if your band starts to do even slightly well, if you start doing anything at all, then there's one important thing is you have to be able to spend time together, often days or longer at a time, in usually relatively cramped quarters, relatively uncomfortable situations. So you have to be able to get along on that level. And then often you're sharing rooms. If you're traveling with the band, you're sharing rooms with people. So even like little things of habits and hygienic habits and issues, and not to say musicians are dirty, but musicians are dirty often. And then there's the way people eat and interact with other people around. And when you're in a band, one person in the band speaking is just accepted by whoever they're speaking to as that person speaking for the whole band. It's just the way it is. You're a little tribe, you're a little organization. So if somebody says something, then everybody else is just thinking that, yeah, they're all in agreement. So you have to be with somebody that represents you. You get along with, you can handle their quirks. You have a similar creative, let me think of the best way to say this, that your creative visions align, that you want to go in the same direction with the actual music and the art you're making. And then all that has to be put into a person that does one very specific thing that you need. Because you probably need a drummer or a bass player or a keyboardist. So you have to find all those traits inside somebody who does one of those things exceptionally well. And it's pretty wild. So I think when people find a good band that they can play with and find the right guys or girls, you should really try to make it work, because it's not an easy thing to do. And it's not an easy thing to make last, that's for sure. It's a very close day-to-day relationship, and those things can, they can fray. So I'm lucky over the years. I've found some good guys who do good stuff, and some people I've been able to travel the world with, which is amazing, and that also did a good job at their respective jobs in the band. So we were able to do some things, and just having a band that was able to be pretty good, manage to show up, be professional, do all those things. We ended up doing quite a lot, punching over our weight in some ways, but then you realize that because it's so rare to make that happen, that other bands are in a similar situation, and it's hard for people to make things work. One of my good friends who also has a band here in Prague, they lost their bass player, and they just decided to not replace him. They have a really good keyboard player, so the keyboard player just plays the bass now with his left hand while playing the other stuff with his right. It's pop music, so it's easy for him, but it's just one of those things where sometimes it's just the idea of bringing somebody else into your circle is the hardest part. It's not even about filling the position or, covering the parts. It's more about, do you really want to be around somebody that much? Do you really want to sit in awkward situations dealing with people? And do you really want some new guy representing you out in public? It's weird. Anyway, cheers to that. We're over here in Prague, which is only, I don't know, maybe an 8-hour drive to the Ukraine. There's a lot of refugees here. There's a lot of Ukrainian people. There's always been a lot of Ukrainian people here in Prague. So this recent dick swinging contest in America with Trump and Zelensky, and it's all anybody over here is talking about. And I don't know. I probably shouldn't get into all this, but it doesn't look good. You know, one of those things where I don't know. I don't even know how to put it. So I'm going to move on from that topic. Forget I brought it up. We're going to cut that out of the edit. Don't worry. But yeah, man. The resistance. The resistance, as Stephen Pressfield calls it in his brilliant book that should be required reading for anybody doing anything creative. It's called The War of Art. It's an amazing book. It's like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's the only handbook I've ever seen for the creative pursuits that really understands what you're going through, or puts it in a way that makes it make sense to you. And the resistance is the word he always uses, and it's that feeling or something, and it's always internal. It always comes from inside your own head that makes you just not do stuff. As I started talking about when I first started, was the idea of how hard it is to do something creatively and keep working on something, even though in your heart of hearts you know it's going to work if you just keep doing it and you keep building and you keep making it better. It's so hard to just do something day in and day out with seemingly no feedback and no appreciation and no progress or reward for the work you're putting in. And obviously no money or any of that stuff either. And at the same time, and when you become an adult, you have to make money regardless. You have to take care of your responsibilities. So while you're fighting the resistance, while you're still trying to push forward in your pursuits, you still have to honor your responsibilities. So you have to, which takes a fair amount of energy usually. And energy is the currency that people don't talk about. When they talk about resources, people talk about not having enough money, not having the right contacts, not having, the good looks or, skills at their craft yet. But energy, all those things can be solved with enough energy. And it's really hard to keep that energy level up when things are seemingly not moving forward. Everybody hears about the story at the beginning, how hard it was, and hears about the come up and those stories about how people struggled for years and they slept on the floor and their demos got rejected, or nobody wanted to see their work, or nobody cared about them, and they played to empty clubs and stuff, and it's all a great story. But those stories last 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but in reality, the story itself took place over years, and people forget that part. And those years, I think, are often the difference between somebody being a nobody and somebody being something great. And the people that can manage to get through those years and get through that valley of despair often become the ones that people still talk about today and talk about those stories. The Rocky cut scene, when Rocky's training, that montage, getting stronger, that lasts a minute or so. But in reality, that would have been a year. So it's important to remember those things. It's important to keep focused, even though it's hard. It's hard for me right now. I'm sitting here in the basement talking to my camera. And I don't know if anybody's ever going to see this, but it's worth saying anyway. I actually heard Gary Vee talking about one time when he was on his mission of, just document, don't create, or, just everybody needs to make content. And one thing he said really kind of struck a nerve with me was imagine how amazing this will be for your kids. Imagine how cool it's going to be for my son to be able to sit around when he's an adult, maybe even after I'm gone, and see me when I was young and healthy and had something to say, and get to see what I was like at this age while he's a little kid now. And imagine, if you're watching this, imagine what it would have been like to see your parents in their prime, or, in HD, being people, not just being your parent. I think that's something that's not something he needs right now, but something that someday in the future when he's an adult, he'll probably maybe would appreciate. I'm sure I'd be interested to see my dad back when he was a real person and not just a memory. Something to think about. So anyway, we'll keep doing it. We'll keep fighting the resistance every day. And it gets hard, man. It's so hard sometimes. It's so hard to just get up and do stuff sometimes. The only way forward is to just do it. I mean, I know exactly what I need to do to make the changes I want to make. I know it'll work. But it's a path of years, not days. It's a question of time. It's a question of how many rejections are you going to get before you get that one that's not. And there's many, many more rejections than there are acceptances. So, yeah, keep pushing forward. That's what we got. We can do some music today. I think we probably will. It'll make me play something. Maybe I'll actually play some songs today, because I've been fucking around and making weird noises, and I think those weird noises are cool. But then if I watch it back, it's like, maybe it would be better if it was a little bit more focused for this sort of thing. Although, who knows? I think maybe also I'm going to do some music only streams where I just jam out for a few hours and make really weird noises. Maybe even do like a whole little ambient thing, put together some visuals, something to sleep to, or something to vibe out. We'll see. The future's wide open. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to be here. The lighting will get better. The sound will get better. The set will get better, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. See what else we can come up with. Make this entertaining. We'll get some more cameras in here, too. Let's get some more angles. Also, I'm going to have some friends, to play music with. And get a few of these episodes under my belt before I really invite some people down. But I already got my plans. I already know who I'm going to ask. They don't know it yet. They don't know this exists yet. So it'll be cool. Some Coke Zero. This is my biggest vice, I think. Coke Zero. It's probably the worst thing I put in my body. But it is refreshing. So what are you going to do? Yeah. So, music time? Is that where we're at now? Yeah. Let's do it. making a conscious effort to not say, you know. I realized that, you know, is my big stumbling words. And I spend a lot of time editing, you know, out of me talking. You know. So I'm going to stop doing that. But everything's a learning experience. If you try to just taking some advice from Mr. Beast, which I'm sure is the same advice I've heard from many other people in the past, but most recently from him, is just keep doing it. Make it 5% better every time somehow. Figure out what needs to be better and make it better. That's it, and it'll be better. And you move on. Still need a theme song. Could maybe use this. I was thinking about this one. This is a song I did a while ago. Or maybe this is just too chill. Maybe we need a little something more upbeat. I don't know. It's nice having the music in the background, though, I think. Let me bring it way down. Yeah, man. So much stuff to think about, so much stuff to do. It's finally getting warm here in Prague, which is nice. It's been a long-ass winter. Although they said it's the warmest winter the Czech Republic has seen in, I don't know, decades or whatever. Last week was really cold, so it's hard to remember that it was warm. Especially at night, especially when I'm walking to gigs, which is an amazing thing. I remember when I first started playing, had to get a truck to go to the gigs, had these giant amps and stuff. You know, when you're a kid, you just try to do it all. And now I literally walk to my gigs, which is just mind-blowing to the old me, to the old young guy, that's even possible. Technology is amazing. I really want to go over some gear stuff. Probably definitely going to do that. But I think I'll do that in the form of just some shorter videos, not on the live stream. So I would need to do some cutaways to show you what I'm doing. But if you're into the gear stuff and you have some questions, especially about guitar and looping and that stuff, please, drop a line. Let me know what I could help with, because that would be cool if I could manage to help out a little bit. I've done it a lot. So that would be cool to talk about. We're going to talk about Loopy Pro. We're going to talk about how I'm doing it with the HX Stomp XL and some ways to set that up that I think are pretty cool. Although, because I'm pushing all these pieces of gear to their limits, I'm discovering some vulnerabilities that I'm sure they don't know about, because I've tried to Google these problems and I haven't seen them anywhere. So I don't know, man. We're gonna have to figure out how to do that. Miles Kello, what up? What up, dude? What are you still doing awake? It's 10 o'clock. It's late. You liking this tune? Stuff's groovy. Actually, I did this album with my friend Guy a while back, specifically for this, so we don't get copyright strikes on my own show with my own music. So that'll be nice. Gonna join the chat here. Hello. Yeah, man. I think we're gonna have maybe that's what we can do next week. What's my favorite Irish indie pop band? Man, it's tough. Man, I know this one indie band from up north that's, I don't know, they're okay, but their producer, man, he's just handsome. That's what we need to do, man. We need to get this. We need to have some call-ins with some people from around the world, so that set it up so we can talk about what life is like in different places and what the music scene is like in different scenes around the world, and see, because what I have a sneaking suspicion is it's more the same than it is different. I'm in Prague. I grew up in America. I did all my music in America. And coming to Prague, honestly, the people complain about the same things and say the same stuff, and they say all the same problems exist. So perhaps things are the same all around the world. One thing with globalization is that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And problems and quirks of things end up being more global. And, I don't know, it's a certain type of person that becomes a musician and wants to try and can handle the suffering and can handle that can see through the problems and understand what's on the other side. Yeah. The scene there is sad. Yeah, the scene everywhere is sad, dude. And that's the problem. And, there's theories about it. And honest to God, everybody's going to hate me for saying this. I think the reason scenes got so sad is because of the musicians. People just started to suck. People stopped starting to take it. People stopped taking it seriously. And this is what happened when I was a kid playing. Is it stopped? Clubs stopped booking people based on how good they were, and they started booking people based on how many of their friends would come. So if you had a lot of friends that would come to see you play, it honestly didn't even matter if you were good or not. I understand everybody has to make money. It's a money-making venture. It's a money-making, that the point is for everybody to get paid. The point is for everybody to get paid. The point is for everybody to be able to keep their businesses alive. It's the entertainment business. That's a fact. But the good musicians focused on being good, and people stopped going to see them. And then you get some idiot that sucked but had 30 friends from school come to see him play. He'd get the gig. And then when his friends eventually got bored and stopped coming, then the guy who owned the venue thought, oh, live music doesn't work. And it's like, well, yeah, you had shitty live music because it temporarily brought in a few good people. If you would just build the reputation of the place that has quality music all the time, it's packed. The place I play literally as many times as I want in a week, 3 to 5 times a week, it's packed all the time. Like literally every day. Tuesday night, I'm playing tomorrow night. It's going to be packed, I'm sure. And the dude just gets the best music in Prague at his place. Doesn't care if anybody brings a crowd. So it works. But the place brings a crowd anyway. So it's just, it's the endless loop of success. So that's how it goes. But yeah. So anyway, venues started saying that live music didn't work, and then so what they do, they get DJs. DJs play all the songs that everybody likes, and then people start going to see live music because they booked the people who sucked and just brought all their friends. But then when you go to that club without being the friends of the person playing, then you just think, man, this music sucks. So I guess live music sucks. So I'm just going to go to the DJ and he's going to play all the songs I like. And then it's going to sound good. And that's it. Live music is done. So yeah. We go underground. We go online. We can change it. Let's make it better. Just do better. That's it. All right. Enough ranting for today. I got some good stuff to talk about in the future, though. So stick around. Hit the old subscribe. Yeah. Do it. Man. Take a break. I'm going to turn on the music. Get set up. Go make some noise for a little bit. See ya. All right. Get moody. Make that little bit of noise. On that beautiful note, from the lovely Cyndi Lauper, I bid you farewell. Until next time, be good.